Okay, we will call the Bylaws Subcommittee of Park and Rec to order at 5:45 p.m. And I know Matt has a declaration he wants to make.
Yep. So I'm Matthew Bussey, Park and Recreation Director, am abstaining from voting in this meeting.
All right, we have public comment on our agenda. I do not see anyone who's from the public, so we will move ahead. Discussion of bylaws, constitution, and any resulting action. So Matt did yeoman's work today and cleaned up the bylaws, which is awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Beautiful. I mean, honestly, really nice.
Yeah. So that's what I felt like we needed to like see a clean copy. So we talked about I'll go through section by section. Article 1, there's been no changes. Article 2, that has not changed since our last meeting.
The only change I made, I think, was on this one where I just added in section 1, section 2, or was it here or was it alternates? One of the two I added.
No, yeah, I don't think this one actually, I think I already had a section 1. The only thing I know I tweaked after, maybe that's not true. Maybe I did tweak something. I think it might have been number 2, to create and maintain all lands and facilities that have been designated for park and recreation purposes in coordination with other town departments and Kent Center School. I tried to simplify it because we had way too much wording in there. Everything else is the same. Would it help Kate, to share my screen so you can see?
Yeah, I'm gonna have it up on my screen.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I can do that if that's helpful.
I'll let you know. In fact, we can continue like this.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm assuming that you capitalized town on purpose.
Yeah.
Yep. And my other question was, should park and recreation be capitalized?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and commission, we tend to capitalize that too.
Do you want me to make edits while you talk, Lynn?
Sure.
Perfect.
So membership. I think we kind of left this alone. The only thing we've really changed is the alternate stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so section 7, the third selectman on the Board of Selectmen is a voting ex officio member.
That is new. Section 6 is new from the existing, clarifying that Park and Rec Director is a non-voting ex officio member.
Okay, so where are we on that?
I have not heard anything from Darlene. I think we move forward with our document. This has got to go to the town attorney.
Right.
So I think the next process is we probably give it to the commission, make sure the commission is okay with everything that we're proposing. And then the commission sends it to the town attorney. So the town attorney can review it, and then it goes to the selectmen.
Okay, what I was going to say about this is that like, I have absolutely no issue with the third selectman being a voting member of our board. I want to just make that clear. I have no problem with that. I'm not trying to, but if what Darlene said is true, that the way we're set up is different than other town boards, I think we should have a good reason as to why we are operating differently than other boards, that we have a selectman on our board and they are a voting member. Because if it does affect the parity, the equity of the board in terms of representation, or could potentially, I think we should have a good reason as to why we want the third selectman to be a voting member of our board. And what is that reason?
I think my guess, this is a total guess, because I do not remember why this was changed. Or I don't even know the history of when it was changed.
Well,
My,
and I
my
don't think
guess
any of
is it
us
was
do.
it was to help facilitate communication between Park and Rec and the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, for sure, having them be a member of the board, but having them be a voting member.
That one was modified in 99, I believe. And the rationale behind it was that when the commission came about to establish the department in 96, they wanted a select person on there to really facilitate what's going on, since it's a newer department, and they wanted an elected leader to be part of that discussion and be part of those decision-making processes.
And where are you getting that information from?
That was from a conversation I had with Lori Sachel. I was going through my notes.
Oh,
That
okay.
was from her back in February.
Okay, yeah, so she would have been first selectman then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
that
what
was,
what about having them have a vote? Because it's all about having the vote.
I believe that was
Well-
99, and I was added in just, it was
Well,
just added
no,
in
it
when we
was,
talked
it
about
was
bylaws.
there was concern when Rufus was the third selectman. And it was brought up, I think, by Darlene. And they asked for a legal opinion, and we got a legal opinion from the town attorney.
So that
It was
20.
first by Lori Schiesel was working for Kramer and Anderson, and she gave an opinion, and then Randy DeBella clarified and agreed with her on the opinion, saying
Which
it
was-
was a voting, that the third selectman was a voting member, the way that it was structured in the ordinance, based on the ordinance.
But why?
Well, I think
That's
probably
my
what
question,
Matt
like,
just said.
What makes it important that the third selectman be a voting member? Be instead,
Probably because it's such a large chunk of the budget. And what he just said about the voters, except for, I mean, how you determine voting, the members of the Park and Rec Commission, the voters are only the voters who come to the annual town meeting in January are the ones who are selecting this. So maybe they're thinking, because they're not elected by, like in a normal election, that this would be a good way to make sure. I really don't know, but that's what Matt is conveying from the first selectman at the time.
Because I can get why a select person might delegate out the tasks to their select board to go on to different commissions and to be part of it if the first selectman can't be part of the commission because it's time consuming and it would really wrap them up from their day-to-day operations and being the executive director of the town. It would make sense to delegate that power out to someone on the select board. But the voting part is because to me it just seems like, it seems that if the select person votes Park and Rec and is all for something on there and then brings it to the commission level or brings it up to the Board of Selectmen level, it's like a gold seal yes.
Yeah.
But to me, it seems a little,
It is a little weird.
what's the word I'm looking for? A little not impartial, but it's
Although it does,
little
we had an example of where I was for something and the other two were not, and it didn't go through, so.
right. And there's the opposite of it, where you're for something and the other two aren't. So it's
Yeah.
kind of, it's that, it allows the double dipping. So is that something that might be that might have too much involvement and we might have to explore it more? And I haven't heard much, so.
So, I mean, I think we can ask the question again in a different way of the town attorney. Specifically about these kind of issues. And
I
get
just think we should do, yeah, I feel like
clearer
we should,
answer.
I think we should say that we would like to do what is best practice, unless there is something about Parks and Rec where it makes, I mean, I was just thinking about this a lot today. I was like, what could there be about Park and Rec that would make a selectman not only be important to be part of the conversation. That part of it I totally understand. And delegating participation in boards, I totally understand. But having an actual vote, I just want to make sure that that's best practice. And if it isn't, then I don't,
Yeah, because also with it, even just with like fair party representation and minority representation, if there was, let's say, the board is comprised of 7, and right now the majority is unaffiliated, it would constantly be unaffiliated if that third selectman is unaffiliated, or if it's, if it's, majority Democrat, and then we have the third selectman elected and they're a Democrat as well, it would then show a Democratic majority, and vice versa with Republican. So, and it's not that, we are a small town, but at the same time, with political parties, there are specific things with political parties and affiliations and agendas and things that are set forth with goals and things in mind. And with that in mind, it kind of sways the vote. And I'm not saying that that's exactly what's going on right now, but let's say there is a hot topic and it might be the development of a park, and we acquire land somehow, and one party is all for us developing a park, the other party is not for us developing a park, and we're voting on party lines. So, or even if it's electing an alternate, or if it's having a program take place. So
yeah, I think we should do best practice unless there's a really good reason not to. And that's
Well, we'd have to go back to the town attorney because they've already given a ruling on this. So we'd have to pose questions, some of these questions like Matt is talking about, and say, we would like you to revisit this question. Because we already have a question, the question answered.
Well, but the question to the attorney was, is it okay to have the Board of Selectmen be a voting member? Was that the question to the attorney?
No, I think the question was, is the third selectman a voting member of the Park and Recreation Commission? And the
Okay.
answer was yes.
And that happened like a couple weeks ago?
December of 21.
The town attorney was asked that December of 2021?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I think these bylaws should, okay. You guys, this is not about me having a problem with
no,
it.
I'm not trying to say, no, I'm just talking about process. That's all I'm talking about.
So I'm just saying, like, what if here we are finally redoing the bylaws of the Parks and Rec Commission, and we should submit them as best practice. And if in 2021, who knows what was going on in 2021? I feel like
but not much has changed in terms of the structure of the board of the commission.
Right, but the question, but the answer as to why is our selectman a voting member as opposed to everyone else who isn't? Why is it? My question isn't answered. I don't know. I'm not.
No, I hear you. I hear you 100%, Kate. Because
do you have a copy of this ruling, Matt?
No,
I
don't know.
Okay, I have it because I saved it. I will definitely send it out. I'm not going to find it quickly, but I will send it out after our meeting so you guys can all have it, and so Matt can have it in the records.
Thank you.
But I don't think we can answer the question without. I think, like I said, I think the correct thing is to pose new questions to the town attorney. And ask for clarification.
The way I would pose it would be like, what is best practice? To have the Board of Selectmen be a voting member or have them not be a voting member? What is best practice? And that is what I think we should do as the Parks and Rec Commission, unless we have a really good reason as to do it in a different way. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about best practice, but I think the key is that for me, the key questions are, how do we ensure minority representation on the commission with the current setup of in light of or maybe the better question is, in light of minority representation, should the third selectman be a voting member of the Park and Recreation Commission?
Yeah, perfect.
Because
Great.
that would
Yeah.
answer that question.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other question that Matt is posing, which I do think is a good one, is are there situations where the third selectman has a conflict of interest, particularly with budget things, and should not be voting? If he, let's say he comes back and says, yep, got to be a voting member. Are there sort of conflict of interest where the third selectman has in this dual role, it could be a problem? I think that's a valid concern to raise with him.
I think
I
we
agree.
should, if we're
Yeah.
gonna put this, I mean, who, God knows when these are gonna be rewritten. I think we should,
Yeah,
might as well.
but I would suggest we go with what we have as the ruling from him
Mhm.
and move this document forward in the process, because this is going to take a few months.
Yeah.
For
To
sure.
get the
get-
answer.
Not necessarily to get answers to the questions. I mean, Matt could ask these questions. How has Marty said that you should work through him when you reach out to the town attorney, or do you have the ability to just go straight to the town attorney?
I notified Marty and then I reached
Okay.
out to Randy right away.
Right. So I think that would make sense for you to ask those 3 questions that we have. And then we move forward with this document, because it is going to take Randy a while, depending on how busy he is, to get back to us. And then hopefully he will respond, and we will be working on the bylaws, and we can incorporate his response into the document before it gets finalized.
So
Okay.
just because we're on the same topic, just for point of clarification, if the third selectman is a voting member ex officio or voting ex officio member, does that contradict section 1 where it says we have 6 members? So that means we'd only have 5 members of the commission? Or should we say 6 members, and then
That's another question, I think.
yeah, because right now we're
That's
cooped at
another
the 7.
question for him, because it's right in the that wording, I think, is right in the ordinance.
Yeah, because then we would be 6 plus selectmen, which would be 7.
Right.
And then the other one is none of whom shall hold any salaried municipal office. So that would be,
Right.
but ex officio were put there because of office. So is that contradictory in some capacity?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And what's the definition of salaried? You
Yeah.
know?
Does that mean someone who's paid hourly? Is that somebody who's paid,
A stipend?
A stipend? Like what?
Yeah,
what
does salaried include a stipend? Because basically that's what the second and third selectmen are paid a stipend.
Gotcha.
I would not call this a salaried job.
Yeah, it's a stipend.
So those are all really good questions to ask. And I think the more specific the questions are that are posed to him, the better off we're going to be to get
Yeah.
a straight answer. Okay. Right. So, and those are the biggies for the membership, but we did talk about,
Number 8 with the number of absences.
yeah, that was new. But
Yeah. I'll add a space between 8 and 9 to keep it consistent with the rest
Yeah,
of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say.
yeah,
I was like, this is the only one that's like abutting itself.
yeah.
Boom, there we go. Added to the Google.
So that was sort of a compromise that we came up with, that any member who, without notifying the chairman, fails to attend 50% of the regular meetings during any 12 consecutive months shall be deemed to have resigned. The commission will vote on the resignation. It is the duty of the chairman to inform the Board of Selectmen in writing of such vacancy.
I think that's
Um,
great.
And then we have any member of the commission intending to resign must submit written correspondence with an effective date of their resignation. So
Great.
And then
I
maybe
think
we
those
put
are
in the
good
commission must
additions.
accept the resignation at a subsequent meeting. Because in order for us to post that there's a vacancy, we have to accept the resignation or the commission.
is that the way, really? Is that the way it works or just that?
Yeah, I spoke to Darlene about that one when Blythe resigned, and she said that we have to accept it before we post that there's an open seat.
Okay.
That's the formal process, so I can add that in.
So so the commission would vote on the resignation in that section 8. So we've just got to change it for section 9. Yeah, add that
Yeah,
in for
perfect.
section 9.
Perfect. I just added, and I said, any member of the commission intending to resign. Any member of the commission intending to resign must submit written correspondence with an effective date on their resignation, and the commission will vote. Sorry, I'm gonna get rid of the and. The commission will vote to accept the resignation at a subsequent meeting. So that could be a special meeting, that could be a regular meeting, just so that it states at a meeting.
Okay, so I think we covered everything that was changed in that section.
Yeah.
Officers' duties. So I don't think there was many changes with the chairman.
Park and Recreation Director at the end of that, just insert director.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes in these kind of documents, there's a phrase at the beginning that says hereafter referred to as director. I don't know how you feel about that. Or if you want to just keep repeating Park and Recreation Director.
I can squeeze that in.
And so what we did add was section 2, the vice chairman will preside at meetings in the absence of the chairman. And that section 3 is existing, so. So alternates, we did change stuff here.
Wait, I don't, personally, I don't think we need section 3.
Okay. I didn't know why it was there in the first place. So.
Yeah.
We had it in the original one. We can
Yeah, I
get
know.
rid of it. Yeah. I'm just gonna omit that from this document.
I mean, I guess it's perfectly nice. I just don't, seems a little bit. And then I guess, so we're saying that there is a vice chairman. Should we say in the case of a vice chairman? Because we don't have a vice chairman as
No,
far as
but
I'm.
this would be enabling us to elect a vice chairman.
Yeah. Should we say if there is a vice chairman, they will preside at meetings? Because
No,
I mean, commissions don't have to have a vice chairman, right? Because up here we say we can elect officials as we want to or something. Where is that part? The commission shall choose from its membership such officers as it deems necessary. Right. So it doesn't say shall choose from its membership a chairman and a vice chairman.
Yeah, and you know, that might be something where the town attorney says, well, you really should spell out what the officers are going to be. Because at one point there was discussion about a secretary.
Right. Right.
But maybe if he doesn't say that, then it leaves it open. And if a future board decided they wanted to have a secretary, they could, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Totally. And they can do it. And so this document doesn't hinder them at all.
Right.
So.
And it just spells out that if there is a vice, you know, if the board has decided there's a vice chairman, then the vice chairman is going to preside if the chairman isn't there.
Yeah. Or, I mean, what we've done is in the event that the chairman can't preside at the meeting.
Well, I think that we've covered it in the absence of the chairman.
Okay. But I'm just saying, like,
we've elected a chair in the past.
Yeah, we've just
the meeting?
elected, yeah, we've just passed the buck to somebody else.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there is a process with Robert's rules, that, yeah, we elected a temporary chairman.
I think this would be an easier way just to set it, and just in case, for example, if the chairman can't make a special meeting, we have a vice chair who is available to make the
And
special.
yeah, that you're right. That actually makes things,
It allows
that,
us-
it's sort of, that's when you agree to be vice chairman, you agree to preside over meetings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if a chairman had a conflict of interest and had to recuse himself,
You
then
know
the
that
vice
you're up.
chairman,
Yeah.
vice chairman could do it. Yeah.
You know that that's your,
Yeah.
yeah,
All
that's
right.
part of your responsibility. Got it.
Okay. So we're all in agreement. We're going to strike section 3 on the officers. Alternates. I think the big change was section 5.
Yes.
Section 5, if a member of the Park and Recreation Commission is absent from any meeting of the commission or is disqualified from acting on a matter before the commission, the chairman will elevate one of the alternates to vote on business at that meeting, with the exception that alternate members shall not be entitled to elect any officer of the commission. So that was to make it a little bit clearer and
Yeah.
less convoluted.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
I like
If
it.
he agrees, and if the town attorney agrees with this, then we're probably gonna have to change the wording in the ordinance because it's in the ordinance.
Yeah. So I anticipate that there's gonna be some ordinance changes, which we
Yeah.
can visit.
So here we have the officers' elections. The chairman and a vice chairman shall be elected at an annual organizational meeting in December. I think this was originally put in January, but now the practice has been in December, I believe.
Doesn't that not flow well since we have our annual town meeting in January and that's when we elect members of the commission?
Oh, maybe that's why they did it in January.
Because if we do it, like, for example, let's say that someone does get reelected to a term for Park and Rec and they're now the chair. That's a really
Oh,
awkward
yeah, that's a
situation.
good catch. I just know that Darlene, as the town clerk, has always encouraged people to do the elections in December. So, yeah, we're probably different because of that. But really, then that means we have to have ours done in January.
I can touch base with Darlene on that and confirm.
Yeah.
Confirm
Well,
with-
I mean, it's really, you're right, though, because if there were new people, it probably should be in February.
honestly, it
That,
should be
but
end of
that
January.
means you're going to be running, you could potentially be running for a couple months without
a chair.
a chairman. Which is probably not good.
Yeah. So maybe I'll talk to Darlene on that one. I'll field her and see what she says, because might create an awkward situation in the future. You never know.
Yeah.
Later down the road, let's say that someone doesn't get reelected. Now we don't have a chair. Or maybe it's both the chair and the vice chair. Now we don't have either.
Yeah.
So it's I don't want to create an awkward circumstance and one that just presents itself to be frustrating. So
I mean, it definitely, that timing definitely encourages people to start thinking, do I want to serve again? So that is going to be a time when things change.
right.
So,
I'm thinking
so
let's
it's
see someone does, and then
either
they'll
needs to
do
be
something.
December or February.
Because the town meeting is usually when in January?
It's the third week in January, third Thursday in January.
Third Thursday. Okay. Yeah, because then we don't have our meeting until
The third Monday.
Mhm.
Which never is the third Monday because, well, I guess because of Martin Luther King holiday, maybe it could be in January then. Because they never would meet on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yep.
So maybe we could say January.
Yeah. I'll talk to Darlene.
I think we should just change it to January, honestly.
Let's change it to
Um,
January.
Yeah, because you're right, it doesn't make sense to do it in December.
Yeah. All right, change has been made.
And it just says an annual organizational meeting. So that's vague enough that it could even be a special meeting that's always held in January or something to organize the commission.
Yeah, or we can change annual organizational to just elected at a meeting.
Well, I mean, that's something that the town attorney could let us know. Because I think that wording is existing.
Gotcha. Yeah. We'll see what-
Okay, moving on to operational funds. So we pretty much we've left this pretty much the same, right, Matt?
Yep, it's just the first one. It says the commission shall make recommendations to the board of selectmen to accept gifts, bequests, and monetary donations or other personal property to the town of Kent. And then I went into the description on recommendations for gift receivals.
So that's not in the PDF that went out.
No, but where did it go? Because I physically wrote it. It might have been a
Note, a comment.
note and it just disappeared. So I apologize about that. Give me 1 second because I know I wrote this out for everyone to see because I was describing the different things that could be accepted. Nope. Yes, I wrote a proposed edit and I unfortunately did not write it in. So let me just copy it. I apologize about that. I wrote it in the note and it didn't translate over. And I'll read it for everyone to hear. The director shall make the decision to accept gifts of equipment, goods, time, and services valued up to $3,000 on behalf of the town. Gifts that are valued beyond $3,000 shall be considered by the commission. All gifts of land shall be considered by the commission, approved by the board of selectmen, and voted on by the town. Gifts shall not be accepted by the department or commission, including gifts that should not be accepted by the department or commission include stocks, bonds, certificates of deposit, shares, mutual funds, or cash on hold. And the reason why my rationale behind $3,000 and why I said the director should, so for example, if someone wants to donate a volleyball or a volleyball net, or if they want to donate a basketball hoop that's adjustable, I feel that should be something that I can just say, yeah, I'll take that instead of having to go to the commission and say, hey, so-and-so wants to donate a volleyball net. Or hey, someone wants to gift us a volleyball net because they're getting rid of it and they need to get rid of it now, but it could better us because we could offer programs with it. Or
So $3,000 is how much it would cost for like basic sports equipment? Is that what you're thinking?
pretty much up to.
Okay, because it seemed like a lot of money to me. So I was like,
Yeah.
where is
It seems like a lot of money to me.
But you know, I
But-
haven't bought sports equipment, so I don't
kinda
really
wanted-
know.
I kind of want to keep it consistent with what my purchasing power would be too. So let's say someone wanted to donate Easter eggs for the Easter egg hunt and they went all out and they purchased like $2,000 worth of candy-filled eggs. I think that's an amazing donation, but we wouldn't be able to accept it. I would have to go to the commission and we might need a special meeting for that because they might have
Yeah.
offered to gift it the first Monday of the month or the first Monday in April, and Easter or plan for the event is the second Friday or the second Saturday in April, and our meeting's the third Monday. So we wouldn't be able to we would have to have a special meeting, and who's to say we'd be able to meet.
Yeah, I get that. It's just when this
Yeah.
question comes up, you need to explain why $3,000 is the right amount. And I don't think
Candy-filled eggs isn't gonna
I
be
don't see a
$3,000.
correlation. I don't see a correlation between how much you're allowed to spend and how much you're allowed to accept. That doesn't ring true to
Yeah.
me.
I mean,
But
we
if
could
you say
vote
that,
it.
you know, sports equipment is expensive and that's what I was thinking about, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
another thought is, let's say someone wanted to donate pickleball nets and those cost $1,200. That's sports equipment. Or if someone wants to donate something for the parks and a bench is over $1,000, that's some park equipment. And
yeah, that's what makes me think, well, $2,000 would be more that seems like a better number than 3,000 is a lot of money for one person to decide on their own.
Yeah, so I'll do 2,000.
I even think 2,000 is a lot. I don't
It
know.
is a lot.
I feel like,
We
I
can go
mean,
lower. I mean, I just threw in 3,000 to be consistent with just what was written in the document, but I will be I can change this to
I
1,000.
mean, granted, this has
No,
not
I
happened
don't-
to me
I
ever
thi-
in my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, you know, that you don't want to be hamstrung too. So the thing is you have to think about examples.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
where, you know, how much, because I agree with you, like things that are, you know, supplies.
All right, how about this? How about during the holiday season, somebody wants to donate, I was gonna say Christmas trees or something,
even decorations. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of something that could be pricey, because candy is not it. It's got to be something.
Let's say they want to donate the Christmas trees, ornaments, and a platters of cookies, and that's
Yeah, you're still not.
That's
You
still a
still
lot.
haven't
What-
gone above $1,000, dude.
What
Yeah.
what if somebody wanted to donate like all the t-shirts for a sports, you know, a sports team? How much money is that?
Oh, that's a lot.
How much?
That would be close to $3,000.
Hmm.
Shirts are expensive. Shirts run between 9 if they wanted official. You want it for baseball, and they're getting like true baseball shirts. Those run about $19 to $26 a pop.
Wow.
And let's say we have 40 kids like we do now for baseball. That's a lot of money right there.
Okay.
So 26 times 40.
I didn't realize t-shirts are so expensive.
Oh, some are. So some shirts aren't too. That's 1,040. So that's within the range.
All right.
It's
Why
another
don't we
thing-
meet in the middle and say $1,500?
Yeah.
Let's say not exceeding $1,500.
And the town has no,
I just
they
think it
have no
looks a
gift
little
policy,
weird.
right? You asked that
This was
question.
talking with, I talked to Barbara about this, and
Yeah.
when I mentioned the 3,000, she said that would be a good number. So we were talking about what some of the ones that she's given advice on for gift receivables for nonprofits. Because a lot of stuff, and when I said 3,000, she was things are expensive, so that would make sense why for 3,000, especially equipment. And I was now thinking about it, but I think 1,500 is enough. And then if there's anything over that, I do come to the commission. Plus, I'd rather key you guys in on stuff so that we're all on the same page with what's going on,
Right.
instead of just me, you know, haphazardly accepting many gifts, and just all of a sudden we have gifts galore by many a folk.
Yeah, if somebody wanted to gift a tree for the park, or somebody wanted to
Oh,
gift
yeah. That could be expensive too.
somebody, but that's sort of big news for the Parks and Rec Commission. If someone wanted to gift a tree. But if the tree, you know, if our next meeting wasn't until for 2 weeks and he wanted to, the tree had to go in the
Yeah.
ground, and I don't
So
know. I'm just
that's
trying-
an argument for $2,000 though. 'Cause
Yeah,
trees can be, depending on the size of the tree,
yeah,
can be very
yeah,
expensive.
yeah. All right, let's do $2,000. Do
Sure.
$2,000.
Yeah, I think that 3 just felt a little too high to me.
A little
Um,
high.
But that I think 2 is better. I really do. Because that'll give you flexibility, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so this other stuff is the same, right? The budget of operating funds. So I thought the way this was written was one had to do with expenses and one had to do with revenues. Is that the way is that why there's section 2 and section 3? Is that the way you read it?
Yeah. That was do we need section 3?
I don't know why. You know, we have the budget. We have the budget of operating funds must be prepared. It feels like duplication to me, which is why I had asked that in the note.
Yeah, that's why I said let's keep it, but then I was like, wait, that's now that I'm reading it out loud, it's kind of like duplicate. Yeah, let's
It does,
omit it.
unless it's really, one is supposed to be talking about the budget, the expense budget, and one is operating revenue funds. I don't know. I don't understand this, why it's in there twice.
We can delete it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm open to. Does everyone else feel similarly?
Yeah, I don't see why
I
it's
mean,
there.
we need to give a copy that shows the original with marked up things, so we can see what's been added and what's been changed. So
Yeah.
when the commission and the town attorney is making, looking at it to figure it out. All right, so I think that's clearer.
Yeah.
Has the authority to establish fees and charges. Okay, moving on. Now, this is a biggie, the expenditures.
Yes.
This has a lot of changes in it. So we've got section 1 about personnel.
Mhm.
So we got part-time personnel hired to staff. That's all the same
Yeah.
as we exist now. And then we have, this one we're going back and forth on this one. The Board of Selectmen shall act on the commission's recommended hiring of middle management supervisors, including after-school program director, summer day camp
Here.
director, and Emery Park waterfront supervisor.
I'm gonna remove the Kent from summer day camp because the new job description is just summer day camp director.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I'm just omitting that.
Okay. So that is except for the fact I think I added in this phrase middle management supervisors, it's pretty close to what it was before.
I mean, it makes sense that they assist in the hire of middle management, and they approve it.
Is there any way we could generalize those instead of having them specific, and instead of having specific titles? Is there any way we can just generalize who middle management supervisors are?
Can I ask why is it good to generalize it, just so we're not locked in?
Because in 5 years, what if we're not, I mean, what do we, are we, because we're mandating that we have an after-school program director and a summer day camp director and an Emery Park waterfront supervisor till it, as,
I don't think having the ability, this line in here is just saying that the commission recommends to the Board of Selectmen. It doesn't mandate that we have any of these programs.
But to echo in with Kate, let's say that we now open up the splash pad at Kent Commons and we need someone there present. We're listing out what it is. Let's say that we want the Kent Commons splash pad supervisor or the Kent Commons supervisor. And
could we say any other supervisors? We would just then need to make sure we call it a supervisor, any new position we create.
I mean, necessary include Board of Selectmen shall act on the commission's recommendation, hiring of middle management supervisors to oversee programs as deemed necessary. I just don't see why we have to name. I don't understand why we have to name any of them in this document. I mean, we can name them. You can name them in the job description. It makes sense. But in this document, I don't see why it makes sense to name the things that the Park and Rec Commission
I think we'd need it for
the programs that we
clarity.
run.
Kate, I think we'd need it for clarity because otherwise it 3 years from now, different people on the commission, they're not going to understand what was meant by if we don't list it.
I would say the Board of Selectmen shall act on the commission's recommendation of hiring middle management supervisors who oversee the operation of specific programs outlined by the commission and Park and Recreation Director. just to
Mhm.
generalize it.
I don't think it'll work. I really don't.
Maybe changing the word including to such as.
It's the
Yeah,
same meaning though.
Including has a more mandated term. Because now we're saying that that we are including these and they are specifically designated by Park and Rec, and it's not listed anywhere else in this document that we're offering those specific programs. And I think that saying such as provides examples of what those
Okay,
people are, because that's what we're talking about is examples of it. So I
yes.
think
okay, all right.
Matt,
Such as
I
might be
agree.
good.
That
I
makes sense.
completely agree.
That
I
makes
completely
sense.
agree.
because I feel like that would be a lot more
I mean, to be fair, we could find out next week that for some unforeseen reason, there will not be a waterfront at Emery Park going forward. Something could happen. We don't know. We
Well, I
don't know
mean,
that.
yeah, I mean, we currently do not have this position. We don't have a
Right. And
need for
we
this
don't,
position.
we don't know that there is going to be a waterfront at Emery Park for sure. And
Right.
we don't know that we're going to be running a summer camp in 5 years. We don't know that. We don't know that we're going to be running
Right.
the after school
Exactly.
program in 5 years. We don't know that. We could find a better way to run after school in this town than have Parks and Rec run it. So I just, again, for this document, I just wonder why we should be so specific as to the programs that we run in this document.
And that makes sense because we need to be flexible and we can specify.
But Lynn, why do you think we need to be so specific?
Because I think for future people, they need to use this document as guidance as to who has to go before the Board of Selectmen, who can the commission just hire. And this section in here is giving guidance saying, oh, okay, the after school program director has to go to the Board of Selectmen.
I
And
see where you're coming from.
unfortunately, we've had recent history where things were not done well.
Okay, how about we say salaried or something, recommend hiring of
They're not
salaried.
salaried though. They're part-time people. They're part-time supervisors. They have different duties and different it's supervision. They have
So
supervision over other people.
maybe we say shall act on the commission's recommendation for hiring program supervisors.
No, I don't think
Because
so.
then that is all encompassing program and
But
facility
that could be confused with somebody who's running a program. You
well,
know?
I mean, in essence, Becca runs after school.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly about this, probably because of what I had to go through in December, where I learned about things that were not done well in the past. So that's why I'm being a stickler on this, because if it's not written down, you have no guarantee that people are going to follow the rules. When there's an absence of leadership. And that's what we had in December. We had an absence of leadership. And there was not a lot of history on the commission.
And the language that was the way things were conducted definitely caused the animosity. And I hear you, Lynn. So I can see where you're coming from with that. And I also hear you, Kate. I can see why putting in there is specifying that we may be running programs and we might be locking in on those things. But we don't
No,
know
but I think what you've done, saying such as,
solves it.
that solves that problem, because these are just examples now. These are examples of middle management supervisors.
That have
We could add more. We could add more that we haven't thought of right now, you know?
Well, right.
I mean, in essence, we could add the recreation leader, and we know that's going to be a middle management supervisor, but we haven't listed in here, but it's covered because we have that as such as.
Right.
So anytime we're creating a new job, we should think about whether it's, if they're supervising other employees. Because that would trigger this. Regardless of the title.
I wanna think on this. I think this might be a Randy question, and we bring it to the commission too.
Right. I mean, Randy's going to
Yeah.
review all of this language, so
Well,
we can
just a
definitely
highlighted
highlight things that
thing for
we
him.
know that we're a little unsure on. But I have a feeling this is probably not a legal. This is not probably a legal issue. This is more of like an operational type thing. Like what's the best practice for operating the commission? And it may be that I'm wondering if the commission, because they were talking about before you came on board, Matt, that they didn't even want to have to go to the Board of Selectmen on this. So there may be members who say, why do we have to go to the Board of Selectmen? Why can't we just hire people? I think we should move forward though, and not get stuck on this.
I want to think on it, so we can definitely move forward. Kate, how do you feel?
I feel fine. I think changing it to such as, Lynn feels very strongly, clearly, and I think we can accomplish what Lynn wants to accomplish without having to be specific, but I'm willing to be told I'm wrong about that.
No, and I feel similarly. We can definitely accomplish, Lynn, what you're saying by such as, because that just lists the examples instead of having it as defined terms, and that we're committing to those things, because things could happen. Like Kate said, we could be without Camp Kent or without ASP or without Waterfront at Emory. It could all be
Different.
Yep, and we're not married to those concepts because things evolve and change and life evolves and changes. So
Right.
Yeah. John, do you have any input? I don't know if you're able to chat or unmute.
But I think we can move on. I don't think we need to, I don't think we don't have to
Okay.
worry this bone anymore.
Okay. So we are on to number 3, employees hired by the commission. This is new. Employees hired by the commission will be presented in writing a job description, hours work, and a letter of hire with a rate of pay. One signed copy of the statement will be on file with the Park and Recreation Director. So that makes logical sense to me, for sure.
Yeah.
That phrase hours work, is that a typical HR phrase? It seems like I've stumbled over it as I read it aloud.
Hours of work?
Hours of work. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so number 4, are you okay with that, Kate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
So number 4, we're trying to, this is sort of clarifying fee-based programs and fee-free programs.
So this is what I want to tap into quick. So the fee-based, that's one where the commission would need to approve, and if we were doing something with a contractor, we're introducing a brand new program that's kind of a fee associated with it. That's definitely something the commission should weigh in on and just really help facilitate and structure and approve. So it's not just something that's done because then there's a contract involved, there's another entity involved, there's a partnership involved. It should just be done at the department level. The one that when I said fee-free programs, let's say that I want to offer like the Emory Park hike that I did in March should I have gone to the commission for that? Is that something that we can just approve? When I spoke to Rufus about it, and Rufus mentioned this a few meetings ago, it should just be there when there's no fee associated with the program and it's just offered by the department and the only charge is the director's time or an employee's time that's already in the budget and there's room in the budget for this employee's time, the director should have the discretion to just enact that program and then update the commission at a subsequent meeting that this took place. It was a program, it's running successful. This was done, you know, by X, Y, and Z, so that we're not calling special meetings to have programs approved. And, you know, maybe even just sending out and, you know, getting feedback from the commission on the development of the program before it's enacted, just like when we were talking about the concept of the Emery Park hike group.
Hiking
and
club,
the
yeah.
stuff for that, the
I
hiking.
think
So-
I'm pretty much okay with that idea. But I think as a member of the commission should know about events that are planned before they happen. Because you put the commission members in an odd situation if the director has the ability to just do a program and there's no communication to the commission.
I agree. I agree.
Because people walk up to us members and ask questions of us, and we look stupid if we don't know what's happening.
I agree.
That's 100% fair. So maybe the language should not just be, you know, an update at subsequent part, you know, at the
Yeah,
next
I
meeting.
think it
should
has to be
an update upon-
before the activity occurs.
I
It
agree.
doesn't need to be a vote, it just needs to be notification.
Notification, right?
Yeah.
And
And then
okay,
grammatically, I have to put in hyphens here because it needs to be fee hyphen based program
yeah,
and then fee hyphen free. And I don't think the word based on B needs to be there. Cause that is just, it should be fee free program, right?
yeah.
Okay. Although it is quite a tongue twister to say a fee free program.
Fee-free program. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oof.
Written communication.
So the I think this works, but I do wonder once you do this for a while, if you might want, if you're gonna find that it's still a little too cumbersome. That's my one concern.
Yeah.
Is because like if you wanted to do something that, let's say a craft program or something like that, and there was a cost for supplies that we had to pass on to the participants, that would still require you going through the commission.
Right.
Because there would be a fee.
Yeah.
So.
No, and that makes sense. And that's why I do want the commission's involvement, because then you know about financial expenditures that are being, you know, transactions are taking place and financial expenditures that we're posting to participants.
Yeah.
I think that would be strong. The free ones, that's where it's just a charge. Let's say I have the room in my schedule to host a free program, and let's say that there's interest in the community, and I'm like, you know what, I can facilitate this. Let's get public interest. For example, let's say that I can offer a free preschool pickleball program. I had
Yeah.
a preschooler last night at pickleball who was using a T-ball tee and the pickleball paddle, pretending to play pickleball and practicing hitting up against the wall. And I was like, wow, what if I had a free drop-in, like parents come with their preschoolers, one-time deal, try pickleball.
Yeah.
Just as, you know, some
Yeah.
sort of recreation opportunity. Or let's say we're out in the park. I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be a nice day on Friday. Let's do an evening free art program with preschoolers or with kids or something. So
Yeah.
obviously update the commission, and I put in their written communication, so an email would go out and would let you know about it before I promote it. So that, you know, when you're asked questions about it, it's not a surprise, there's this going on. So
I think you still could say note instead of should be made in I just think the word notification needs to be in there. Oh, no
What's the
update
communication?
upon approval of the program.
Park and Recreation will
but
notify the
so-
commission.
So the Park and Rec director is approving the program?
If it's a fee-free one, I would say it should be me approving it.
But would you really be thinking about it that way, or would it just be notify the commission before the activity happens?
Notify the commission before the activity happens.
Yeah, I don't think when you're in that mode of trying to get something off the ground, you're not thinking about approving.
Yeah. Fair point.
Yeah. All right, so 5, instructors or entities of free programs are not employees of the Park and Recreation Department and shall be entitled to receive a percentage of the registration fees collected. All proposals for new fee programs should be made in writing to the commission for its review. Individuals or entities submitting requests for programs may be asked to attend a commission meeting and discuss details of said program.
So that's echoing 4A.
What?
Isn't that echoing? Oh, it's kind of echoing.
No,
4A.
it's different because it's really I think it's important to clarify they're not employees.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
And-
that's
and
true.
I
So
think-
we can keep it.
I mean, you do have the line about the fee programs made in writing, so maybe we could take that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing is just a repeat of what,
Not the
Of
whole
4A.
thing, but
I would say maybe the last 2
And-
sentences. So
yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
admit that. Yeah, I think
Yeah, so
structurally.
now we're just talking, it's more
yeah, because
clarification.
attending a commission meeting has more to do with getting approval of it than,
Right. So
Yeah,
now now we're zeroing in on the instructors. And then A says the instructor or entity contracted for a fee-based program will receive 85% of the Okay, so explain, you've got 85%,
Yep.
and then the town of Kent will receive 15% unless an arrangement is made with the commission for a different revenue split. And
Right.
then the B is talking about an 80-20 split.
Yep. So
For the ones that have overhead costs, et cetera.
yeah. So the 85-15 was just going down a little bit on the contracted end and going up on our end for receiving funds because the price of inflation for the price of programs has gone up and the person might be charging more for them or for them to do their service, or they might have a general idea of what their service would look like. And then also the reason why I did the split from 85 to 80, if we have overhead costs, we're going to want to compensate in some way, shape, or form for that loss. So I figured receiving 20% of fees, getting an extra 5% might assist us in that compensation and might help, battle the blow instead of what we have to do for that. Also, we're the ones going into the contract for those rentals. So let's say we're renting out gym space, we're going to have to go into that contract. We're providing the service to contract out that space. So is it fair for the person who's providing the program to be paid and compensated more in wage than for the person who's or the entity that's spending time to go ahead and set everything up to get everything off the ground? So the rental cost, item rental cost, facility rental cost, let's say we have to go out and rent a generator for a light that needs to be outside. I'm putting in the power, I have to put in the hours to do that. So
Right.
it's more of I budgeted by hour and I was like, you know what, it would be an additional hours. So let's compensate by hours at that point too.
Okay, so
okay.
have you run example numbers about using the learn to skate in the rink or the swimming to sort of see how this would work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we're at right now with Learn to
Hey,
Swim.
Matt,
Okay.
I have a suggestion on this one.
Sure.
And this is, I think I have a theme. I think I have a theme with my opinions on these things.
I'm
but that
ready
is,
for it, Kate.
I really don't think that in this document, you need to be so specific. I think you can do a minimum and a maximum, and you can incorporate all the different ramifications. I mean, all the different instances that you will encounter when having people come and run programs for the Parks and Recreation. And they know in this document that at the very minimum, they will receive a certain percentage of the revenue. But that is to be something that is a discussion with the director. I just don't think you should put specifics in this document.
How
Yeah.
about if we pulled it out and had a fee-based policy, a fee-based program policy? So it's in writing, but it's in a document that's easier to change.
Yes.
How's that sound, Kate?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
So let's just remove number 5's A and B.
There's going to be so many permutations of different things. And I think you're absolutely right that, that there should be different considerations for different circumstances. But, you know, why stop at 2 different ones? I mean, maybe there could, I mean, you know, there could be all sorts of different ways to split the pie, but
Right.
somebody will know that at minimum, they're going to get a certain amount.
Well, I think we just put into 5, we say, based on the fee-based program policy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Because I
enough.
think that way it can be changed, you know, if
Yeah. Yeah.
if we decide that, you know, 5 years from now that it needs to be, you know, 70-30, whatever, it can be changed.
And even then, I think it should be a minimum in our policy, whatever that policy is.
Yeah.
Just so that, you know, that we have that different considerations can be taken in for each. Yeah.
All right. You got to refer to policy though, because it's got to be in writing, Matt.
Yep. I'm going to call it the revenue generation split policy because that just sounds so specific, or GSP. And for some reason, Aretha Franklin comes in my head, and I think that's ACT. So,
Yeah, I don't know about that though,
importance of
because
Park and Rec.
you're changing sort of the focus of a
Oh.
fee-based program to revenue.
Let's workshop this.
Okay, that
All
done.
instructors contracted will receive a percentage of revenue generation split with the town, with an agreement made in accordance to Park and Recreation Department policy and approval of the commission. And approval.
So not give it a name, just say policy.
Yeah, let's just call it policy. Makes it easy.
Okay,
You know, let's just call it policy.
all right.
5 years down the road, it might change to another phrase. You never know.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's why I'm thinking about it too. I'm like, yeah, what if it's not revenue generation? Now it's something completely different.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because we're not trying to generate revenue for the department. It's more just, you know, receiving fees.
So now the next question is going to come up is, do we need the specificity of fee-based programs that have been approved by the commission do not need additional approval for new sessions? Programs can be renewed, canceled, and commenced based on the Park and Recreation Director's discretion with a report to the commission.
Yeah, that can be all in our new policy.
You don't think it has to be in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I think that should be because we're talking about approvals of fee-based programs.
Oh, actually, you wait, yeah.
Because this is,
Okay.
this is a big change, because right now Matt has to bring everything to the commission.
Like
Right. We
now-
talked about this the other day. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's
This
okay.
is, yeah.
'Cause I'm thinking of like when in the, hopefully June or July, once I know what the school schedule is going to look like for the next year, I can go ahead and packet deal and share with everybody all the programs that are going to be based on school recreation sports and share that with the commission, and if that needs approval or not. But those are going to be major change of dates and things along those lines. But if Dawn wants to offer another yoga class, do we have to go through commission approval if she says, hey,
Right,
yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get evidence that John was in the hearing all this?
Well, he said he could when I talked to him on the phone.
But earlier when we were asking him his
I
opinion
know.
about,
No, he hasn't, I don't know what to do. The only thing I can,
is he still?
he's still
He's
showing
still
up
there.
as being connected,
Okay,
Kate.
I just want to
so
make sure that because if we're
Yeah.
having this whole conversation and it's.
It is
gotta-
recorded. It is recorded.
So maybe we don't.
So let's leave this as is, because I do think it's important because this is a big change, that it stay in this document. Because this 6, 7, and 8 are all new.
Yeah.
So 7 says previously approved fee-based programs that have been altered with changes such as a fee adjustment or new instructors need additional commission approval. All free programs that have been approved by the commission do not need additional approval for new sessions program. So we're just treating the two of them. Maybe could we do that? Could we combine 6 and 8?
That's what I was gonna say, the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't have to separate them out.
yeah, because it's the same, right?
Essentially, yeah.
You're not treating anything different?
No.
Okay. So yeah, we can get rid of 8, I think.
8 we will delete.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Okay. And so here's the last big change of the bidding.
Running ahead.
So Matt has learned that the town has a current bidding policy of, you said $20,000?
I think it was $10,000. No, sorry, 20,000. You're right. Yes,
Yeah.
20,000.
I think there's actually a state law, because there's a story in the paper, in the Republican American today, about a bill that they were trying to pass that the governor vetoed,
Oh.
that would raise the minimum bidding from 25,000 to 50,000. And so he refused to sign that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think that we have to refer to state law, because if there's state law involved, it's more than just the policy of the town.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I was gonna mention. I honestly did not know that until I read that story today.
I'm gonna have to check that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe the town, it might be a little more stringent and say at 20,000. I believe it's 20,000.
Yeah, it may be, they can be more stringent than state law, but they can't be
Less.
it can't be.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in section 2, we could say maybe adherence to state law or state legislation and policies and procedures set forth by the town.
Yeah.
And we're covered.
Bidding process. Perfect.
Okay, so Matt has proposed that less than $3,000, the director can make purchases at his discretion, report back to the commission. And then greater than or equal to 3,000, but less than the town's bidding requirement, without specifying the bidding requirement, because it could change. The Park and Rec director must procure 3 written quotes, then make purchases at his or her discretion, with quotes kept for records of purchases and support from the commission.
So 3,000 came from, for example, bus trips for camp. Those are going to be expensive. So if we're looking at, it could be $400 to $500 per trip. So that if we're doing 6 trips total, that would be at most $3,000 right there. So if I'm trying to approve having having the town's bus company take the kids on the trip for camp because they're readily available, it makes sense instead of having to go out and find quotes and then coming back to the commission for approval on that. Or maybe let's say that we need to change up what we're doing for camp, and right now we're at $1,000, and let's say we have to cancel the trip because we're going somewhere else and the place that we wanted to go to is closed, and I have to make a last minute decision and change, and that decision was already over $1,000 and required approval, and now this trip is going to be over again. I have to call for a special meeting to change. But if let's say that's happened on a Monday and the trip's on Wednesday, I have to fluster and try to get something out. Let's say it happened Monday night and then this is going to be Wednesday morning. I need to have a decision made by Tuesday night so I can call
Right.
places and say,
But-
hey, this is what we're going to do. We're coming to you. But then that's putting a lot of stress on myself to act in such a very reactive manner. So I want to
But
be
but just for clarity, you are all the trips contracted at one time? Would you have one contract for all the different weeks?
I would like to do that. It's easier so that we can just contract it out and say that we've already scheduled everything just to prepare ourselves, and not that we're prepaying, but we're just saying, hey, this is everything, this is where we're going to be at, and then we pay subsequently. Or let's say like t-shirt orders, as
Okay.
I said, $1,000 is not enough just for
Right.
baseball shirts. Or if
Yeah.
camp shirts right now, like session 3 or session 4 for camp is full. Session 4 is full. We're at 36, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
But let's say we have so many different kids coming in, and if we're buying t-shirts and t-shirts are at $12 a pop, and we have to buy them for, so let's say we have new campers every session, that's gonna be a lot of money
yeah.
out of the budget. And
Hey,
same with-
John by the way, John just texted me and said that he's still there. He's still here with us.
Oh, good, good.
Perfect.
Glad he can hear.
John.
So yeah, so that was and the other thing I thought of is you brought forward a quote for dealing with a tree that needed to be treated at the park. Was that under 3,000? I can't even remember how much it was. But I was
under
thinking,
3,000.
that it'd be nice for you to be able to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Of like, just take care of the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Once again, I think it comes down to examples just be prepared with examples. I'm not sure the bus trip thing is actually good.
Bus trips
A
one,
great
aluminum
example.
benches for if we want to buy stuff for Kent Center School Field. If we want to buy aluminum benches, those are over. Those
Yeah,
are close to
so
3,000
equipment and t-shirts are probably a good example of why the number needs to be at 3,000. Okay, and then greater than or equal to the town's bidding requirements, we would follow the town's bidding process. Do you know if that's written down?
The bidding
Is-
requirements.
Yeah,
We should have them on file. I can't remember where Barbara said we have them. But we do have them on file with what our bidding requirements are.
okay,
And we do have a bidding process.
okay.
Yep.
I mean, I'm nervous about not having the number, but I understand with the reasoning why, because it could change and it probably will change periodically. So,
Yeah. As example for what you just said with the newspaper article.
yeah.
If we approve this and all of a sudden now we're at a higher number, we locked ourselves in at a number. We got to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. You okay with this, Kate?
Yeah.
John, if you're not okay, if you could let us know, that would be great. With the $3,000 figure.
He says he's good.
Okay, cool. All right, so then, this line, section 3, the Park and Recreation Director shall have the authority to contact and authorize payment of bills for supplies, equipment, and materials necessary to operate programs approved by the commission. So that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I think these other two things, amendments and fair practice, we didn't even touch that.
Now we just moved one of them in from the Constitution, which was fair
Yeah.
practice.
All right. Okay, good work.
Awesome.
So I think we send this off to the commission. To have, so the commission would be meeting for the regular meeting in June, right, on the 17th?
Yep.
So it'd be great to get this to them so they can really look it over and have time to, and then the other thing, I'll try to go through and mark up one from the original, because I do think that's important that we have
can-
that to show
I
the
can give you a note of
differences.
that too, Lynn.
Okay, if
that's
you
the
want to
real
do
one.
it, that would be great. But I think it's important to see the crossouts indicated and also the new language.
Yeah. No, that'd be awesome for them to see, and maybe just I can do a comparison. Here's what was amended. This is what section 1 said, or article 1. This is now what it reads, so that there you can see the discrepancies between.
I would just do I just do two documents. I would say the clean one and then one that has the crossouts in the new language. And like do crossouts and then do new language, maybe highlighted or something in some color.
Yeah.
Just to make it clear. I think it's what we used to do with the fire department with when we went through a lot of document changes. So it just is so much cleaner so people can see them side by side.
Yeah.
If that matters to them, then they'll understand it. All right, this is a lot of work and I appreciate all of you guys' help with this. It's huge to get this. Oh, and also, can you change the name of it? I think we just call it draft bylaws at this point.
Yeah. Draft bylaws.
Should we take a vote to move it to the commission just to make it a little more official?
Are we gonna try to get answers to some of those questions?
Well, I think we need to move this forward. The questions are for the town attorney, right?
Yeah,
I think we tell the commission that these are the questions we're asking the town attorney as we submit this to the town attorney.
okay,
I think it's almost like a parallel track. I think
Okay.
Matt should
Okay.
move forward with these questions and ask the town attorney, but I think it's gonna, we're 2 weeks away from a commission meeting. Who knows?
yeah, no, okay, fair
Who
enough.
knows if
What's your list of do you have a list of questions there, Matt, or is it or you kind
I'm gonna pull them from the recording, but I
Okay,
got
okay.
the gist of what they are because we were talking about the number of members, section 7 with the third selectman. I have in my document written down. I like put stars. I'm like, ask
Yeah,
Randy,
yeah.
ask
Perfect,
Randy,
perfect.
Randy
Yeah,
question, Randy question, and I'm gonna pull the specific questions from the recording. I'm gonna re-listen to this and just make sure that I
Okay.
have the wording right so that I know
right.
exactly what I'm asking Randy, and then I will share that communication once received from Randy, and I'll share that as a correspondence.
Perfect, awesome.
So I would like to make a motion though that we move this draft of the bylaws that we recommend it to the commission for review.
I
And that
second
way, okay, cool.
Um,
And then, yeah,
point of just clarification, how can we get John's vote? Should we?
well, if he could text Kate his vote, that would be awesome. So I will call the question, all those in favor? Aye. Oh, he's raising his hand.
Hey,
nice.
John, you raised your hand! Woo!
Oh, no, that was
Wait,
mine.
that was
That's-
you. Wait, no, I see it's you.
Wait, that was me. How did that happen? I did not
No,
click
he
anything.
texted yes to me. He
Oh,
texted
good,
yes to
good,
me.
good. Well, that was creepy.
John raised his hand. Nope, it's Linda.
I really did think because it was like in my screen, it was showing up right in front of his name. All right, awesome. So we will move this forward. So thanks again for everything you guys have done. It's been quite a journey.
Seriously, Matt, thank you for all
Yeah.
that. That's
It's
amazing.
a lot of work.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to do it. So
All right.
John is saying, I think he's saying thank you too.
Okay.
Hang on. See if something to say. Just make sure you. Okay, he says yes. He's saying thank you too.
All right,
Okay.
awesome.
All right. Awesome. Good night,
All right,
guys.
thanks. Good night.
Good night. Thanks
Bye.
everyone.
Oh, we'll close the meeting at 7:09.
7:09.
All
Mark
right.
it.
Nice.
Meeting
Bye.
adjourned. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.